Welcome to Let's Get Spiritual. I'm your host, Annie, and I'm here with my bestie, Ashley, and we'd love for you to join us as we discuss all aspects of spirituality and wellness. So sit back, take a breath, and let's get spiritual. Welcome back. We are here, and we're about to get spiritual.
Yes.
So this week, we're talking about astrology.
I love it.
Yes. How can it be defined, though? So I went to my favorite little series of books, the Little Books of. I don't have it with me today, but there's so many of them. And it kind of was what inspired me to do this podcast because there's so many different aspects to spirituality.
We will one day actually remember to link that in the show notes
because
to our
they're
YouTube
great,
because yes,
great books to read.
They are good.
So it's defined as an ancient metaphysical system based on the patterns of planetary movement within the zodiac's constellations that has the potential to provide individual insight, relationship mutuality, and deeper understanding of the timing imbued for your soul's purpose. That was a lot.
That's serious.
That was a lot.
Yeah.
For me, my definition is it's a map. Yes. Definitely a tool
for your personality.
It helps us gain insight about ourselves and about others and about our relationship then with that person too.
Assuming that the person isn't in like a bad place, like if they're a substance user or something like that can change people's things. Like don't live by astrology. People are people. Yes. They can surprise you.
Yes.
You don't know what their life has done to them up until the point that you've met them. But it is a very good roadmap.
Exactly. And that's how I really like to look at it. And tools, like a lot of our spiritual practices are tools that help us deepen and get closer to ourselves, I think. So just like with anything we discuss, these are matters of spirituality, of ancient methods and practices, and we must always approach these with openness, love, respect, and integrity. So let's dive in. I want to start with the basics. So there are 12 zodiac signs, which make up the 360-degree view of the sky from our earthly vantage point. Okay. So every 2 hours, the constellations of one of those 12 signs is always rising and rising at the Earth's most easternmost point. Okay. So if we take the whole view of the sky and we divide it up into these 12 slices of pizza, they each have 30 degrees and make up the 360. So that's what the 12 zodiac signs are. And they consist of the ones that we know. I just lose my spot.
Are you about to name them all off? I don't think I know all of them.
And here's the thing. So there's been some debate. This is why I got lost, because there's some debate that there's a 13th zodiac. Ficus.
Ask
right?
if you were going to bring that up. Yeah, there's supposedly another one. It changes everything that we are then.
Yes. Hold on, though. It's a constellation. So are these. These are constellations. But with mathematicians and the astronomers, they divided up the 360-degree view of the sky into 12 equal, even parts. And if we had 13, that wouldn't happen. So the 12, plus we get 3 signs per season of the 4 seasons that we have here. And there are 3 cardinal signs of 4 of the different zodiac signs in there.
So what you're saying is it could be a thing, but we as human beings are nope, too much work. Keeping it as it is.
I feel like I follow some astrologers and astronomers, and they have most of them go to this system with the 12 signs because it does,
because it's just always been in it. Makes sense.
And if you see where the constellation of this, I think it's pronounced a ficus, I'm pretty sure.
Well, it doesn't almost matter.
I'm sorry, it doesn't count. It's like when people say Pluto but Pluto does matter. Okay.
I like our being picky and choosy about this, but
well, and I feel like that they've said that the constellation is in a smaller part of the sky, so it doesn't equally distribute the time within that sign. So most signs are a certain amount of days apart from each other because they fall within that cycle of just the 30 degree of each sign.
Yeah, and I was going to say, I feel like when we're dealing with universal laws and things like that,
mathematician, math has
perfection has to be a thing. Yes. It's the only thing in the space, time, whatever around us that can be perfect is just the universe and
sacred
math
geometry.
Yes. So it's 12.
It's 12. So we know them as Aries the ram, Taurus the bull, Gemini the twins, Cancer the crab, Leo the lion, Virgo the maiden, Libra the scales, Scorpio the scorpion, Sagittarius, the centaur, Capricorn, the sea goat, Aquarius, the water bearer, and Pisces, the fish. So in addition, like that's just not the whole astrology thing. It's not just about those. We have the luminaries. Okay. And those are all of the planets, the sun, and the moon. Okay. Pluto included. So
you are right by like Pluto counts, guys. Don't forget her.
The way this happens and the way this map works is our view of the sky. And like, for example, let's take the day that I was born. So for the day that I was born, okay. Or the day that you or any of us were born.
It just made me giggle. I don't know why. Go on.
Okay. So on that day at that specific time, the Earth, from our viewpoint, there were certain planets were in different areas of the sky that these 12 astrological signs make up. Correct. So based on where these planets are, kind of give you a picture of your personality, of because Pluto is the planet of transformation. It rules the subconscious. Neptune is the planet of spirituality and creativity. Uranus is the planet of liberation or change. We can just say it, Uranus.
We're not. Well, I also was going to say, are these your planets? Because that would make sense as to why you so passionately defended Pluto.
No, okay. No. I mean, these are all the planets now.
Yeah, like I didn't know if this was your chart that you were reading.
Well, and I mean, all of them are present in a certain sign of our chart. So Saturn is the planet of discipline and integrity. Jupiter's the planet of expansion and wisdom. Mars is the planet of action, initiatives. Earth is just Earth. We're here. So we are on it, observing all of these. Yeah. Venus is the planet of love and harmony and pleasure. Mercury is the planet of communication, both non-verbal and verbal communication.
Also, that's with your stuff when it goes in retro.
Yes, it sure do. The moon is it
affects, just the moon?
Yeah, it's the moon.
But it's important.
But it affects our intuitions and our emotions heavily, our emotions. And the sun is like our will and self-expression. So
because don't they all where they fall too? Like it's all important. They're numbered. It's like it falls in a certain house. And then wherever that is in the order is like really what makes your like outer personality.
So like if your Mercury is in the sign of Aries, and Aries is like the ram and very like, straightforward, and it's a fire sign, you may communicate very directly with passion, like those kinds of things is how it kind of like, it's like a certain, it's just like a map. Yeah. So like the way it was on that day is kind of like a snapshot of like your personality. Now it's not like how we said, it has to be this way, but it's heavily influenced.
And you definitely notice it once you know someone's chart and like what each of the things kind of mean.
Yes.
You can really see how it does play into things.
Yes.
Yeah. Cause I'm a Libra is my sun sign. Yeah. So that's the thing that like everyone perceives me as, is ruled by Venus. And I am your typical, like, I love to flirt. I'm romantic, like all those things. So it does help. Yes. I'm a Gemini moon. Watch out. 1 second I'll be nice. The next second I want to punch you in the throat.
Yeah, like, your emotions can go either way.
Yep. And I'm a Leo rising.
Oh. And Leo is one of those like fiery, passionate ones. And that's Leo, or your rising sign means it's whatever sign was rising on the horizon when you were born.
Yeah.
So, and yours is in Leo. So that kind of just means that you have a very fiery
personality.
That's how people perceive you, is like the mask that you put on. So it always lines up. Like my moon is a Virgo moon, and that's very analytical. I analyze my emotions. That's why I write so many damn
it's like
notes.
OCD sign. Like everything has to be like, yes.
So when it comes to my emotions, I'm always like, why am I feeling this way? What's making me? That's why I analyze things a little too much sometimes, but thanks, Virgo. And my rising sign, I'm an Aquarius, is my sun sign. Yeah. And I am an Aquarius to the T in most cases. And my rising sign is Pisces, so that one's a very dreamer, like it's the fish. It's very like flowy.
Sometimes as we get older, we are more of our rising sign.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah. I think so too. I think it's a good mix of them all to be honest.
Yeah.
And what I also loved about this book is that it explained and relates astrology as the symphony of the universe, where like all of the luminaries and of all of the aspects of the zodiac each have their own part or instrument in the orchestra. So it's just making up this beautiful song, and it's just like constantly changing and moving, and like different parts have like a different solo and like things just come up. So each time one of the luminaries, the planet, sun, or moon, move into a new sign, it affects that part of us too. For example, Mercury is the communication, and moon is the emotions and intuition. So when Mercury is in one of our signs, we may communicate more strongly because it's in our sign. Or like the same thing with like emotions, or like when the moon's in Cancer, I mean, we're all just crying.
It's just a really sad time.
Yeah, because Cancer is like a water sign, and it's a sign of like releasing emotions
They're
too.
super emotional. Like there's lots of Cancers in my life.
Yeah.
And I hate that they try to act like some of them try to act like they're not emotional. And I'm like, you're super emotional. Yeah. You're being emotional, trying to not be emotional. Exactly. Right now. God.
And I'm sure many people have heard and have even dreaded when Mercury's in retrograde.
Yeah. Reggaeton. As I've seen. No, see, you don't know the vibes either.
Mercury's in retrograde.
We need to label these somehow.
I know.
Sorry, Venture X.
So what that means to our earthly perception, this whole retrograde thing, is if we followed Mercury through the sky and it's going in this like forward orbit, to us, it looks like it slows down and goes back the other way a little bit. Okay, that's retrograde. Yeah. It's just going in its little happy orbit, but to our perception, when it goes around to the furthest part of the orbit from us, it's perceived as it's slowing down and then going back, the opposite way. So that's what retrograde means. So that actually, and its forward motion is clockwise. The backward motion
and is everything obviously retrogrades.
Yes. Anything that has an orbit to our perception will retrograde because I
feel like Mercury hits us the hardest because communication is life.
And it's the closest to us. So we're going to see it more often than not because it's a fast planet with a closer orbit to us. So Pluto takes a really long time. When Pluto retrogrades or when Pluto moves into a different sign, there's usually like a generational like consistency with it.
Pluto's in like the sign of Aquarius.
Yes, Pluto just moved into Aquarius, so that's why I feel like we're in a more forward new age kind of movement because now it's like a generational thing. More and more people.
And Pluto rules what again?
Transformation and
makes sense.
Yep. So like crazy story about Mercury in retrograde. It's really crazy because it even in the shadow period. So the shadow period is that time where it looks like it's slowing down before it goes into this retrograde. Things typically really do happen when Mercury's in retrograding, which is why people are like, oh my God,
it's so everybody knows it's happening. They're like, what?
It happens with communications. So like personally within our relationships with each other, maybe you're just like miscommunicating, someone's dropping the ball and communicating, or on a larger scale where like internets are down. I remember one time, like, I think Instagram went down during Mercury retrograde at my personal job at the bank, no matter what. And I've trained people and have said, listen, Mercury's about to go into retrograde. And we usually get this email that says that online banking is down. So just be ready to help our customers because
it's happening.
It's going to happen. And it was funny. The last person I trained the first day, I was like, there it is. That's the email.
That's crazy.
It always happens.
Yeah.
And I always feel like my car GPS doesn't work as well. Like little stuff, like the radio station isn't.
You also just have a weird way about you with technology.
It's
so
strange,
I mean, retrograde, yes. Annie, yes too. So
yes. Yeah. So we have our luminaries and they move around these 12 slices of the 360-degree sky, which make up all the 12 areas of the zodiac. And within those 12, there's like subfilters.
Okay.
So the first one is the elements of the zodiac, which are the 4 elements we know as the fire, water, earth, and air. So fire represents power, courage, and that is the sign of Aries and Leo and Sagittarius. And they each add their own spin to that like fire representation with their own personal signs too. So like this stuff gets deep. People just think it's like mention
that time is important too. Did you mention that?
The what?
The time is important too. the time that you were born also is a huge part of what makes a chart
and that's
accurate.
what tells us that is the time of your birth is where all of these places are in the chart. But even as we move through life and these things are moving along in the sky, it affects us in different ways too. Next up, we have the element of earth, which represents security, consistency, reliability, and those are the signs of Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. Then we have the air signs, which represents intellect and innovation. And those are Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. Hey. Those are, it's funny because like almost all of my friends
are air signs.
Yeah, it's insane. And also I want to put a side note, just because the water bearer is the Aquarius does not mean it's a water sign. That's a lot of people confuse that. So Aquarius is an air sign. Next up,
let me correct this as an Aquarius.
Yes. And then we have the element of water. And the water signs represent creativity and sensitivity, and they are Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. So those are the 4 elements of the zodiac, and they contain 3 signs of the zodiac. Now we have 3 qualities of the zodiac.
Okay, going deep.
I know. This part was really interesting to me. I've heard of the qualities of the zodiac and that there's 3 of them. So there's four signs in each of the 3 categories of qualities. So the 3 qualities are cardinal, fixed, and mutable. So we're going to dive a little deep into these. So the cardinal signs are Aries, Cancer, Libra, and Capricorn. And they are cardinal signs because they're like the captains of each element. They're always ready to say, I'll go first. They tend to lead the way in order to achieve success. The cardinal signs also fall along with the winter and summer solstices and the spring and fall equinoxes. So if you think about it, like it's crazy that like Libra is in fall and you're at the very beginning of that season. And that's how all of the signs in this cardinal quality work. So I thought it was really cool. Like Aries is in the springtime, summer is Cancer, autumn is Libra, and Capricorn is winter. So I thought that was really cool. So they're like the initiators of the zodiac. So that's just a deeper element of your own personality too. Then we have so because and this is why there's 4, there's a cardinal air, a cardinal fire, a cardinal water sign, and a cardinal earth sign. So very interesting that it like has this like depth to it. Then we have the fixed signs, and they're Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, and Aquarius. So these are fixed because they embody their element the most strongly out of all the signs. So for example, in our calendar year, the months that these signs fall into hold the peak of each season. So like the cardinal signs were the beginning of each season. They represent the new beginnings. The fixed signs are like right at the peak. So they really exude that very strong, deep energy that each of the 4 elements represent. So in the northern hemisphere, Aquarius is like in the dead of winter, and Taurus is the embodiment of springtime. Leo is definitely in the heat of the summer, and like Scorpio is in the peak of the fall. So like in fall and water as a Scorpio both represent transformation. So it just like really reflects back to like a different layer of each of the signs. So last up, we have the mutable signs. And they are Gemini, Virgo, Sagittarius, and Pisces. They're like the grand finale.
They're the caboose. They're the end.
They're the transition signs as well. So they're not fans of either or, but more like the people who are the and both. So they don't like that. They like to transition. On the calendar, they fall into the parts of the seasons that are almost 2 in 1. So like where one season is shifting into the next, but not officially there yet. So for example, in our northern hemisphere, Pisces falls in the time of our calendars where, hey, it might snow or it might be 60 degrees tomorrow.
Find out. Global warming.
Same with like Gemini, spring and summer. It might still be a cool spring day, or it might just be like 90 degrees in like that June time frame. So it's crazy that like that aspect of our signs are also affecting us as our personalities too. Like I never really thought about like as a fixed sign that like makes total sense. Like I feel like I embody what it means to be an Aquarius.
We were talking about this.
You are definitely a cardinal sign. You even said you're like, I'll go first all the time. That is me. And that's weird. Like I never would have thought of that as a relation to the zodiac and all of this.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's really fun. So and as you can see, like finding out your sun sign, your moon sign, and all of your planetary placements, as well as looking into the elements and then the qualities of your signs, what they all represent gives you a pretty clear and accurate picture of your own personality type, your own qualities, and how you might react in situations.
The guys that are listening to this, yes, if you're ever like dating a girl and she's like, "What time were you born?" She's trying to figure out your chart.
This is why we need to know the date, the time, and the location, because excuse me.
And the location. Yeah, that's the other thing.
Because if you're somewhere else, then the planets are going to look different.
We need so much.
Okay. I need to know exactly where you were.
Yeah. She's asking you these questions, means she likes you.
Yeah. or she's testing
you.
Well, I think she's gathering her information and determining
makes sense
a little bit of that. So when these planets shift into different areas too, to reflect our own parts and like our planetary placements, that energy definitely influences us to parts we're like not even conscious of. So like it's, again, not all concrete. Like just because I'm an Aquarius, I'm not just an Aquarius. I'm an Aquarius. Like, and I know other Aquarius is born around us that we're all different. That's because the planets are always moving. So you have different aspects.
That's crazy.
I know.
To think about how everything is so different and how it's just a day or like a couple of days,
a couple of hours
difference, or a couple of hours.
Yeah, it's insane because people can be born the same day but have their totally different like personalities and stuff too. Also, your own programming, conditioning, and childhood affect all
your
of
whole
these
life
things
affects
too.
all of those things. But now that you know, pay attention and watch what happens. You'll be like, oh, those crazy girls on that podcast, they know what they're talking about.
Yeah, exactly. And I just think it's really funny. There's like people out there who like talk bad about astrology or like, oh, I don't follow that, and like you are actually embodying the sign. And like if you know this, I was
gonna say, and if you're really good and you know the sign, you're probably like, oh, you're a
yeah like you're very.
That's the part that I'm not good at. Like I can't pick people out by their sign.
No, but we'll probably have someone on as an interview one day who knows a lot about this kind of stuff.
Fingers crossed. We still have to ask, but we're just gonna manifest putting it out there already. Control it. If you listen to the last episode, you know
we're gonna ride the wave. But yeah, I'd like to dive a little bit deeper into that and how someone who like actually does this and like has like does readings for like astrological readings. I would love to find some more stuff out. So ultimately we have free will, and with our free will, we can choose to listen to the song, the symphony that this is playing, or we can just tune it out and not listen to it at all.
Yeah.
You get to choose the volume of it. Some people read their horoscopes every day. I don't love horoscopes.
No, because then I have to read 3 of them and it's so much. Yeah. And really like should probably read more of them.
Yeah. I do like doing the apps that you do your whole chart with. I forget the pattern is one of them.
Pattern is one of them. There's another. Oh, CoStar.
Yeah, the CoStar is the other one that I've used before too. I only really use that one to give me what my chart is, the full chart, and to see where everything is.
There's websites you can use. There's other ways that you can find this stuff out. But the most important thing is location, obviously the date and the time. That's how you get that picture perfect snapshot of someone's makeup.
Exactly. It's pretty great. Well, I think it's time for some tarot.
It is. And we just, sorry, another card. No. I was like, ooh, what is that? We'll start with it. We decided that we were going to use this fun deck. It's called the Moonology Oracle deck. And it's fun because it uses like zodiac signs and stuff.
It talks about where the moon is, like moon in Virgo, moon in here, and like the phase of the moon. So while Ashley shuffles those beautiful cards, we're going to take some deep breaths and clear out the mind, make room for some openness. We're going to take 3 counts in on the inhale and 3 long counts out on your exhale, starting now. 1, 2, 3, and exhale. 1, 2, 3. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And let that out. Exhale. Ooh, getting stuck there.
Oh, that was 3 of them. Might as well just roll with it.
Nice. They just jumped right out.
They did. So we've rolled. So we have take time to breathe out.
Oh.
Oh, what's that word?
Let me see.
Disseminating? What's that word? There's big words on there too. They're not
disseminating moon.
What the heck does that mean?
I think like right after it's full.
Okay.
That's how it looks. It's going into one of the gibbous.
You know what the most important part is though? Is the message.
Yeah, what's the message?
Take time to breathe out is the first card.
We just did that.
We did. I know. So I was like, oh, okay. I did ask to connect with these cards. So.
Yes.
This is why I like these, because they just have a message that's on them. So then we have, don't let pride get in your way.
Nice. That has to do with
represented by
moon.
full moon Leo.
See, once you
shout
know
out to
these
Annie's
things, yeah.
And your dreams need a practical plan, which is full moon in Taurus.
Nice.
So, I mean, these are pretty much just straightforward. I would say that obviously the moon or the universe is at least asking you to be in the moment.
Yeah.
Obviously you have some like plans and things that you're trying to get to happen, but you need to
stick here right now.
Humble yourself. All right.
Yes.
Humble yourself. Yes, you do deserve these awesome things that you want in life, but you don't get to pick the time that it happens. Wow, this is targeted. Why is this to me? So you just kind of, going back to the last episode, you just kind of have to ride that wave, and
yes,
it'll happen. Like, good things are coming.
Just keep doing you.
Just breathe in and out. Take some time to yourself. Do you. Again, humble yourself, and your dreams need a practical plan. I'm curious to see what the top and the bottom is.
Ooh.
Balance spirituality and practicality.
There we go. That's right on par.
Nothing will come of this situation. Okay, well,
if you don't balance anything.
Yeah, I suppose that would be a good, yeah. If you don't actually take the time to do all these things that I just reviewed, it actually probably will mess up the vibe, and nothing will come of that situation. Keep you from it longer.
Yeah. Well,
but to take a crusty turn, but the most important part is stay in the moment. Yes. Enjoy the journey. Yes. The destination is there. You'll get there. I know it's annoying. I feel you as I say these wise words, but you'll get there.
Yes, you will. So we want to thank you all for tuning in. I hope you all get to discover a little bit more about yourselves based on your birth chart. So keep looking to the sky and stay spiritual.
Yes, hit the button that works though.
Yay!
Have a good night.